live the life beyond the boundaries we set on ourselves, to live and to run boundless, to be inspired, to achieve, to overcome the mountaintop in our life. Embrace the journey, become boundless.
Magda, we're really excited to have you a part of our podcast and just get some time to get to know you and what led you to running, what has inspired you to be a part of this amazing community, how you've stretched your boundaries, and all the places you managed to dive in and just give it your all. You're such an amazing part of this community and an inspiration to me and Kenneth. And I'm sure a part of all the Live Run Bound community too. So we're really excited to have you today. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. And Kenneth is going to start us off with question 1 of the day.
Yeah, so Magda. Oh my God, I hope I say your name right. My wife killing me by how to pronounce people's name correctly, and so I got a habit of not announcing people's name the right way. So
Magda it is. Magda it is.
Magda. Yeah, so definitely glad to have you on with the Live Run Balance show, Bill, family. And so I think the world know you. I know you. For a year, and I watch your YouTube videos. With with Billy Yang, I first noticed you and took the race and stuff like that. Everybody know that you're the superstar. You're the legend. You are the U.S. Olympian. You're the Western State champ. Also, you're probably one of the top female ultra trail running in the country, maybe in the world. So with all the accolades as a runner, who's Magdalene, the person outside running, or what was life before running? Or you always a runner just with the baby?
Well, that's Kenneth. First of all, thank you for having me on the show, Emily. Thank you. It's wow, we're gonna go down memory lane here.
No, yeah, you look good.
Yes, why not?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
I think most people, when they hear, wow, you're an Olympian, you probably just, put your running shoes on and you went to the Olympics. Well, it was not like that at all. I was born and raised in Poland. And I was a teenager when we immigrated to the United States. And I actually grew up swimming.
Okay.
And running was not part of my, early life. But, and swimming was what, I did for the first, 10, 15 years of my life, where I, learned a lot about endurance. I also learned a lot about being a teammate on a team. But when I immigrated to beautiful Long Beach, California, I got really lucky to land in the land of sunshine and palm trees.
Yes.
It was really difficult for me to make friends when I was swimming with my head down and really not talking to a lot of people. So I met someone who was on a cross-country team, and I was a senior in high school, and I really was curious about, more than anything, just making friends. So I showed up to practice, and that was kind of the end of my swimming career and the beginning of my running career. I absolutely love just the feeling after my first run, and I had so much fun and talked to friends, the whole time. And little did I know that was going to be that was going to be my future. So I ended up, learning in high school that, well, as an immigrant, it was difficult for my parents to pay for my college degree. So someone told me if I, put my head down, that there was an opportunity for me to get some help through being an athlete and maybe get a scholarship. And that was a driving force for me to continue to get better as a runner. So, if you really think about that intrinsic motivation, early on for me, gaining help to get education was that carrot for me. And I got really lucky. I fell in love with running. I fell in love with the process early on. And I ended up going to a community college, Long Beach City College. And from there, I got better and better as a runner, and ended up transferring to UC Berkeley, where I still live, a couple miles away from. I live in Oakland these days, UC Berkeley is where, I ended up coming to really develop as a runner, more middle distance runner. I competed in mostly the mile distance. Back then we ran the 3,000 meters, 5,000 meters, and I had a blast. It's truly where I fell in love with everything running. The Oakland Hills are beautiful to run.
Okay.
So that was kind of the entry. So I was not a runner growing up, but it found me, and I'm in it for the long haul.
That's good. That's great. I love how you got started. I also love the part where you talk about how you drop your swimming, and then you just swim more, ever run ever since. I kind of correlated to that story. Kind of to play basketball. I probably was like a best athlete playing basketball. You probably were an elite swimmer. Were you an elite swimmer?
I was not an elite swimmer.
Okay.
Yeah, I was not. I was okay.
Okay.
I loved it though. I loved it.
Okay. I can relate. So we can relate. I was okay basketball player. I was okay basketball player. I played pickup games on Sunday evenings. Up into my like mid 30s, and then when I started running, when I really started running, like training and stuff like that, I fell in love with it. I dropped my basketball and I started doing more running, And I just bought a new pair of basketball shoes also.
Ooh.
I know, but that on the way about maybe 2 times. And so I could relate to you on that one, so.
Yes. It's, I think at heart, that first sport always stays with you. I do crave, some time in the water. Occasionally I don't spend as much time. So maybe like you, I should go and get some new goggles.
I know. Yeah. So it's cool. So your friend, so you had a friend, a high school friend, was it high school?
Yes.
So she introduced you to running. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So do you like it at first? You say, it's the first time you lace up your running shoes. Do you have running shoes at first?
I did not have. So it's funny that you say I showed up in basketball shoes. That was kind of the cool thing to wear, right? So I showed up in my high tops, and I did not know that you needed, special running shoes.
I know.
But I learned quickly.
You learned quickly.
I learned quickly, and I'm still a big fan these days of split shorts. The hardcore running shorts.
Okay, then.
Still love them.
Okay, then. That's awesome. So, so when you fell the first time you done it, you fell out. The first time you were running, you say, it was an aha moment. Okay. All right.
It was a total aha moment. And, when again, I try to reflect on it now that, I was swimming pretty much for most of my childhood.
Yeah.
And you don't have that feeling, or you haven't really reached that aha moment yet, right? And then you do something for the first time, you're like, wow, I love this feeling. I want a little bit more of it. How do I get more of it? And that was my aha moment. This is the place where I need to be, and I need to learn more about this running thing.
Okay.
So yes, that aha moment came many times throughout, even later on, as I evolved as a runner, I had different aha moments, but I still remember that initial, wow, this is so cool. You're moving your body through, through this environment, and it changes. And then you also get to talk to people, which is such a, important, the social part was so important to me when I was 16 years old.
It's just even social now, be 40 something years old, we do a lot of social social stuff while we're running, And I'm gonna hold up. I'm not gonna be too long on it. For like the past couple of weeks, I run with a couple of friends. I post on Instagram. I post a lot of stuff on Instagram. But like now, I'd be having deep conversation with some people, I mean, while we run out on trails, sometimes I had to stop and we like have like deep, I'm like, man, okay, let me start running for a bit, and so I could give you the answer. Could have maybe it's a deeper conversation. But
Yes.
yeah. Cool.
Magda, which stroke did you swim?
Mostly freestyle, and also I did a little bit of IM, so all 4 of them. And
nice.
I keep thinking that if I stayed with running, probably would have done some of the distance. I never swam or competed anything beyond 200 meters. I don't, as a teenager, I didn't know about the long distance running, but I think if I stayed with it, I probably would have ended up in the endurance world of swimming.
Yeah, I kind of did that. I went to college for swimming too, and so swam and ran. But then I liked
you did
running
both
stuff, so I was like, well, I should try the running, the long distance swimming stuff too, and worked into like swimming the mile and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite
really
a different
cool
world out there.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and did you do any other sports growing up too?
Not really. I think those were the 2 main sports that I actively participated in. Obviously I got into more just fun stuff and hobbies. I loved my bike, and I tried a little bit of skateboarding and roller skating,
nice.
Even like little like street hockey. I mean, I tried different things.
Okay.
But like really like committing myself to the craft of yes, being better at running and swimming were my 2 main.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's awesome. Lots of people have talked to me about like, I've only been doing trail running for 4 years, and everyone's like, oh, haven't you like missed out on so much? And I kind of enjoyed the time before, like exploring all the other sports. And then when I found this and like got that aha moment, and was like, no, this is just what I want to do forevermore. Which I mean, it kind of sounds like you had the same thing of like, oh, you got to swim and try everything else out, and that sort of team environment, and then you found running.
Yeah. And honestly, like, the more specialized you get and the more serious I got, the less opportunities I had to try different things, because, especially when the part of my, career where I dedicated a decade to, becoming an Olympian, you try to minimize any risk. So like getting on a bike, I've crashed on my bike a couple of times, college years, and I'm like, or going skiing or going snowboarding. You always thought twice about like, what if I crash and I'm on the sideline for 2-3 months. That would be a huge step back in in chasing my goals. So I do remember the years, the Olympic journey was pretty strict, and I would try to minimize any potential for getting myself hurt. I'm a little bit more adventurous, with trail running. Trail running almost requires you to be more of a generalist versus specialist, right? Like in a marathon, it was such a formula, and you understood that all these things add up to to running a certain time. Or what I love about trail running, that there's so much flexibility to to bring different elements of athleticism, and they can still translate that to being a good trail runner.
Boundless. That would.
Yes, boundless. Perfect. I love that.
That's awesome. And like, as you talked about like the process, I think that's so exciting too, and like
the process,
to really enjoy that process. Like with Kenneth here, he just completed his first 50K a few weeks ago. Now he's gonna attempt the 50-mile
50.
race, and I mean, I hope it's amazing. And he gets to the finish, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this was incredible!" But I have so much more I can like tweak for next time.
Definitely.
No, that is so true.
Of, like learning and understanding. Yeah,
that is so true, Emily. I think it really depends, on your attitude towards that stuff, right? When I first got invited to my trail run, which was like 2013. I've been running on trails. I've never raced, and finally, as a marathoner, I spend 80% of my time trail running, but it was always flat, no vert. And then one time, a friend invited me to a trail race, which was a local half marathon, and I remember, I'm like, oh well, let's try something different. And I remember, how bad I was at the hills. Like it got so steep that I started to power walk, and I was so discouraged. I'm like, I've never walked in a race in my life. But instead of just beating myself down, it was just this like aha moment. And I was like, wow, there's so much I can still learn. That means, it's like it opens up this world for you of possibility suddenly that, like, wow, now I can explore something that I'm not that great at, and I can be on this journey and take this process, and it's going to be fun because I'm going to learn, and I'm going to get better. I mean, it's a win-win. So same, it wasn't pretty in my first half marathon, but you learn and you evolve, right?
I definitely learned a lot from my first trail marathon. I learned a lot. That day, like 2014, my first trail marathon race, I learned a whole lot. And my first attempt at doing a 50K a couple years ago, I learned a whole lot. And, So,
the 50 miles. Here we come.
Right.
More learning.
More learning. Going to be more learning to learn. Going to be lots of growing pains tomorrow.
Yes.
And Magda, like talking about that process, we really wanted to dive into like your process with GU. We just wanted to congratulate you on like being
awesome.
promoted to president. That's amazing.
Thank you.
That's so huge. Yep. Congrats. And I know it's been like a journey. You've been there since 1999.
Wow.
So I truly love my story with GU because I was a college athlete, and my connection with GU started. I was sitting in the stands at NCAA's, and my race was not for another 6 hours, and I was young, and I didn't have a ton of experience because I started my running career kind of late as a senior in high school. So by the time I got to college, I only had 4 years of running under my belt. So every major championship or race, I was a mess. I was a mess in terms of like butterflies. And I remember sitting there and like, I haven't eaten in 4 hours. And a teammate of mine came up to me, and he was a decathlete. He's like, you need to eat before your race. I'm like, but I'm so nervous. I'm like sitting here and I'm already, thinking about, the race and what's going to happen. This is my first, NCAA final. And he handed me a packet of GU. And he's like, I wouldn't go and eat a meal because you're racing pretty soon, but this you can take it down really easy, and you need some calories before you go. I'm like, okay. And I, that saying, don't do anything different before you race. Well, I did it exactly opposite. I full trust in my teammate, and again, that was my first introduction, to GU as a product. And after I graduated, that was my senior year, I graduated from Cal, and I still wanted to be a 5K runner. post college and was trying to figure out what that world of professional running would look like. And I struggled for a little bit, right? Plateaued and couldn't really break through. My times just, were stagnant. I just couldn't make a breakthrough. And my coach and I at that time started to, to kind of, let's pause for a second, reflect on, do we have the right pieces, do we have the right ingredients in our recipe? And again, another aha moment, should I take a look at my nutrition as an athlete? Like, I think my training is good. I'm not getting hurt. Maybe something is missing. And what we did is, GU was a Berkeley born company just down the street. The founder of GU went to Cal, did a little bit of work with our decathletes. So we decided to go and literally knocked on a door, said, hello, can we would like to talk about nutrition. And that was in 1999. And I was already studying exercise physiology. So there was just this natural, natural curiosity from from the founder of GU and me just trying to strive for that next level of performance, and we just really connected. And then next year I took a part-time job that led into me just being on a whole new learning curve at GU, where I learned the food science part, not just the physiology part. And I stayed there for about 7 years. And eventually, what I call it now is sabbatical, but I resigned to chase my running career. And that was in 2007. And Olympic trials in the marathon were in 2008. And I really wanted just to pour myself into that year leading up to it. But GU was really fundamental in my early stages of an athlete, where you pay attention to the little things that eventually make a big difference. And forever grateful for the mentorship that I received early on, and I just fell in love with the company.
That's awesome.
I came back in 2013 to lead the R&D department. And during that tenure, my last 7-8 years here, I've rotated through different departments. The pandemic was difficult for everyone. For a company that like us, who we serve people that train for events, and with all the events that were canceled or postponed, this is where we connect with our communities. We show up at events, and that was hard for just us as a company and individuals that work for the company. And so so here we are. 1999. It's 2021. I'm still here.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's an honor to take this role for me. It's I feel very fortunate that my personal purpose, as a human being, so closely overlaps with the purpose of the company. The company exists to feed the need to move. Like, we're trying to not only feed people with product, but also feed them with inspiration to get out there, move, to be boundless, to get out to educate people on feeling at the right time with the right ingredients. And it's a true honor for me.
Well, it's a beautiful thing, like a match made it in heaven, if I can use that terminology. You do something running, and then you work with GU, which is kind of like inspire people to get out there, like to be active, for people that are active, and like when they're running and stuff to do. And just now, so is that your first job you ever had?
Oh, wow. I think we could have a podcast on just the random jobs I've had, as you can imagine. No, it was one of not my first job. As you can imagine, being an immigrant, one of the one of the things that I'm really proud of is, coming from a family that, worked really hard to survive. My parents have made a lot of, sacrifices to provide for us and, bring us to this country to give us an opportunity to get great education, but also jobs. So I definitely had some unique part-time jobs throughout my, one of my first jobs, actually, when I came to United States was working at Taco Bell. On a drive-through, and I didn't speak very much English, so you can imagine. So the level of empathy that I have now when I do go to places and it's a drive-through and someone and English is their second language, it takes me back to that was you. Do not get frustrated.
That's right. That's right.
So yes, so again, that was me getting through high school. In college, I I also had jobs that got me through. I worked at a running store, and eventually was my husband owned a running store here in Oakland for about 20 years, or was part of a. So that was in our same running store that I worked in college, which is great. We both worked there. We both ran in Cal. Anyways, he stayed in that business, and I pivoted and went to GU. So yes, and then when I first resigned from GU, I actually coached at UC Berkeley full time. Which was a tremendous privilege to coach Division I, student athletes. That to this day, I live pretty close. Actually, Cal is on the way to work from me, so I commute to work with my backpack, with my computer, and I intentionally run through UC Berkeley just to get that inspiration from college athletes. The determined look on their faces, I miss that. That hunger, to change the world, I miss that. So, and that was a great part of my professional career, and I really bring a lot of what I've learned as a coach to the type of leadership style I bring to GU. So it's all connected, and like you said, it's a match in heaven. I do agree, Kenneth. I'm gonna use that.
That's awesome. I love it. I love that story. And just finding something that you really enjoy doing. It just you can connect with. Would you have that like man, I like it. Just have that passion, that joy doing what you do. Doing what you love to do, love what you're doing. So life, so you had a life,
Yes.
You probably had a lot of life lesson, I might say. So what life lessons have running taught you, or vice versa? What running had taught you in life?
Wow. What a big question. I think that what I've learned the most in life is people make all the difference. Every stage of my life. And wow, I'm gonna cry in a second, because when I think about, I'm tearing up, because
That's okay. Go ahead.
I think about everyone that contributed to who I am today.
Yes.
Gosh, it's I just got really lucky just meeting amazing people throughout. I've been around for almost 50 years. So I'm in my late 40s, and I every stage of my life I met some incredible people that make me who I am. I continue to invest in communities and really in relationship, because I know that whatever we do, it doesn't really matter, right? What we do, whether it's athletics or work or families, it's people that make our journeys so much better. So investing in people, that's the biggest lesson. It's been a gift for me to have a lot of this relationships in my life, and I feel where I look for opportunities to give back and invest the relationships, moving forward, to do the same for other people that I've been, gifted.
Awesome. That's great. Because I could relate so much, for the people. I love to reflect, do a lot of reflection, and the full gratitude of the people that have been in my life throughout the years, the different places I've been at, live at, even for a short moment they've been in my life, and I forget, I feel like people put my life at the right time, the right moment for that particular moment, that allow me to continue to move forward in life, So I'm a lot more intentional now than I was younger to really make that connection with people, even if it's for a moment, right? I will always have my Kenneth moment and my Emily moment. Definitely. I totally agree. No, I guess we don't realize that at the time, as we're younger, Emily, take note. Emily probably totally different, you probably, I know. We're just trying to get through the struggle, for me, I'm trying to get through the struggles of life. And I'm grateful to have people in my life at that time. And at a time, I did appreciate it more. They did appreciate it at the time. I didn't know, but as I continue to progress, and I got an opportunity to progress, to able to adapt and adjust to life and the opportunity I'd be given. I had to some time to do a lot of reflection. And remember that I run the trails, had the time to reflect on life, and just how I got here to the process of the journey,
Yes.
You say,
People are super important.
One of probably my, biggest influences in my life was my coach Jack Daniels that I was with for over a decade, and it was a very important part of my part of my life. Again, I think about just the 2 decades I dedicated to being an Olympian, and his guidance was something that I really didn't realize until later how incredible of a human being he was, because he never focused on we're going to make the Olympics, we're going to win races. It was always about the process. It was always about the people in the process. And he's like, you won't remember the trophies, the medals that you had, but you will always remember the people that you were on the starting line with, the people that you went, and had a meal with, and after the race. And he was a constant reminder, for me during my, very important younger years, that is what's about. And and to this day, I make sure that I pay attention to that piece.
Being aware, the reflection, good time to reflect, on your journey, the people that help you along the way, and therefore you're happy when you're able to help somebody else out, And I got to feel the way right now, my new job, I'm going to put my new job, get a shout out to my new job. Called PAV San Diego. People assist the homeless. I have a great joy, working with PATH, helping out, my fellow veterans get back on their feet, and hoping, and just want to see them succeed, and just a great joy, just to able to do something like that, So
it's amazing. Have you heard Back on My Feet? On My Feet, the organization. It's similar. And here at Go, we support that organization, but it's again through taking through running, helping homeless people find their way back. So it's awesome. It is a national, also a national, but again similar.
Okay, I gotta look that up. Gotta give me a round. Just send me a message to remind me.
I will.
Yes. In your running career, we say at the beginning, we talk about the beginning, you accomplished a lot in your running career. Olympian, Western State champ, and all, now just top, you were one of the top, well-known extra trail runner in the world, I might say, you know. Could you agree, Emily, about that? You know, what you want to talk, you know, ultra trail
Oh,
running?
yeah.
Yeah, female
For
or
sure.
male, you know. So you accomplished a lot. So tell us, do you have anything else more to accomplish in your running career?
Wow. Yes, and yes. You know, I think that you know, I continue to find things that I feel intimidated by.
Okay, I
think
like
that's
that.
something that, you know, just sparks like curiosity in me, and
Yeah.
it brings back that fresh motivation
Yeah,
to
yeah.
continuing to, you know, to get out the door and chase
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
So there's so much to offer, and you know, in athletics, in the running community that
Mhm.
like we haven't really, that I haven't tapped into.
Okay.
But it's, you know, for myself, I think it's twofold. One, look for things that are still new to me.
Yeah.
Stage racing is something that really has captured my curiosity, because it involves a lot of problem solving, and I think you really need to practice your patience, and you need to really it's you know, it's, you can use the knowledge, you know, and my experience from the past to apply to, you know, just being really smart and pacing and recovery. So as someone who, you know, you know, who's a little bit older, I can leverage that. But also, again, just that novelty of continuing to learn is really appealing to me. And I think that second pillar is more about just my desire to give back. I think that to give back and really try to share some of, you know, either the experience and knowledge to inspire people to do some of their own amazing things. Because, you know, whether it's a 50 miler or 100 mile or a marathon, to a lot of people, that still seems like a long ways to go.
Yes.
And what I would like to get across is that our bodies are so amazing at adaptation.
Yes.
And they do adapt to training. And that, you know, while so many people, just ordinary people, have finished, you know, running a marathon and even an ultra, there's millions that haven't taken that chance to try.
I know.
There's so many more of those people.
Yeah.
And I think that just, you know, getting that message across that, you know, some really you know, amazing things like that are worth dedicating to, you know, your time to that process. And, you know, it might take weeks or months or years to accomplish, but it's so worthwhile, right? At any level. So kind of twofold. There's so much more to contribute to.
I love it. Yes. Just right. You know, there's a lot of people who haven't done it, you know, or don't know.
Right.
And that would come to where my last video came out, you know, the one that came out, you know, about diversity. You know, a lot of people like me, you know, where I'm from.
Yes.
You know, so not having take up this thing called trail running, you know, like I have, you know, I never thought I would have been doing, you know, I never asked me 10 years ago, you know, or wherever, you know, I probably know anything about it, you know, like that, you know, so yeah, but hell, man, look at me, you know, I'm about to, you know, taking that challenge of, you know, so. But yeah, you know, so I really love it. You know, I love the every aspect of it, the pain, the beat me down, you know, embrace the moment, the beautiful moment. Sometime, you know, being on top of the hill, or just the beauty, or everything, you know. So yeah, who would have known?
Who would have known? I'm with you, Kenneth. I'm with you.
Yeah. So definitely.
And that's so special. Like, you said, just inspiring people. I mean, I know like we haven't been able to spend a bunch of time together, and I really hope we get the chance. Even Kenneth and I, we haven't even met in person either. And that opportunity to just, you know, be intentional with that time is so special. And we really wanted to ask you too about like how your family has supported you and been intentional with you throughout your running career, well, probably your life too, and like this big leap, you know, going to America. I mean, that's huge, coming from Poland. It's so cool to hear more of your story.
I know it. I know.
Yes, family. I think, you know, it's the fundament. It's my foundation. It's, you know, I now have my own family, but you know, like my parents, you know, I am very grateful, you know, for my parents providing this opportunity for me to kind of explore, you know, my potential. And, you know, I still think about like, wow, my parents left everything behind just to give us a chance to, you know, to thrive. And, you know, I think now I think like, wow, it's in my blood to take advantage of opportunities when they're presented, because, you know, of just my upbringing. But my parents, you know, I think they would agree with this statement. You know, early on, were pretty disappointed that I was, or were questioning like, why are you dedicating all this time to running? You have a college degree, and you know, for an immigrant family, you know, they wanted me to see, you know, go, you know, right after college and, you know, get a job. And it was untraditional a little bit what, you know, the route that I took. And it didn't solidify for my parents until, you know, the day I made the Olympic team. Like, no, I was really serious about this. This was more than just a hobby. I was really lucky that my hobby was also my passion and my work. And it's a craft that I was working on, but it really was difficult for my parents to understand that for a long time. You know, again, they lived in a very different reality where you know, just making ends meet was kind of the focus of, you know, everyday survival. And, you know, when I started my own family, small, I have a teenager now, and my husband was someone who I met in college and someone who literally understood, you know, exactly, you know, what I was chasing, because, you know, he was also a pro runner. So he went, you know, after college, after UC Berkeley, didn't make the Olympic team, but was a sub 4-minute miler, and really understood the level and commitment, or, you know, the level of commitment that was necessary to be on this journey. And we've both, you know, have found a way to make running just a lifestyle. You know, it's not, it's how we live our lives. You know, vacations became about places where you can go and run. You know, it's you know, you get up. It's just the way you live your life, and that made it a lot easier to, you know, you didn't have to sit and explain to people why you know, you have to wake up on Sunday morning or Saturday and be out there for a long time.
I know. When I first started it, I had to explain to my wife or other people a lot why I get up early on Sunday morning and run and stuff like that, you know, but over time, it's just a part, it's a norm, the norm.
Yes. Now the family understands, but you can't be, you know, 100% yourself when you don't have that understanding and support from your family. And, you know, I felt very fortunate that I found that in my family. You know, but it's a two-way street. You know, I've learned to also be a little bit more flexible over time, and that's what having a family has taught me of my own. But it wasn't just my way. You know, I'm like, okay, so it means, you know, sometimes I have to get up a lot earlier so I can still be spending family time and
Yeah.
and get really creative about incorporating my family into some of the running adventures, so it doesn't become this selfish, journey, but it's a collective effort where everyone wins and benefits. I mean, if I take my family to top of a mountain somewhere, or beautiful, discovering a new place somewhere, in the mountains, everyone wins.
Yeah. I know.
Sometimes I have to
for
trick
sure.
them to get there, but at the end, we all won.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah.
Do they get really excited when it's off season?
I think that I've sometimes they're like, wow, would it be nice to go on vacations where there's more water versus mountains? I'm like, okay, but again, it goes back to like, you need to be more flexible. And I keep telling myself, you can run along the beach. It's okay. It's okay that there is no mountaintops, but yes, they push me in a good way, and they stretch me and challenge me to get outside of my comfort zone.
That's
For
cool.
sure. That's perfect. Is there anything other, like, I know spending time with your family just seems so important, obviously including them in all your activities and training and things like that, which is so cool. Is there anything else, like talent wise or fun things you love doing? Just, I don't know, like not connected to running or
Yes. Well, I wish I could sing better, but I'm a horrible singer. But food is my passion.
Nice.
I love cooking, exploring. But I'm going to emphasize cooking, not baking. I'm not a great baker. And I think it has a lot to do with, how, as part of my job for years, I live in very strict recipes. So when I get home, that's not as much fun to bake because it's the same as work. So I ventured out to more exploratory, like cooking and playing with different ingredients where I can get creative, and it forces my creativity and a little bit more independence. And I love cooking for other people and sharing food. And
me too.
That is just, it makes me, it brings so much joy to create something that's nourishing and then share it with other people. And then again, it allows me for more of that quality time with people, because everyone's happy when you feed people good food.
Definitely. I got to get some of your cookies. I got to come and get some of your cookies.
Yes. How fun would it be if we cooked together?
Oh yeah.
That'd be
That's cool. I love it. You got any Poland dish that you cook?
I remember, when I was little, I have really fond memories that every time someone came to visit our house, I would want to make something for them. So, and the only thing I would know how to make was like cream of wheat or oatmeal. So no matter what time of the day you showed up, I wanted to serve you oatmeal. But I always watched my mom. My mom was a huge influence. And later on, my dad was also really great cook.
Nice.
They both took turns cooking their own, different specialties. They grew up in different parts of Poland, so they had different cuisines. But I grew up, I never went out to eat. That was not a thing growing up. We didn't go to restaurants. We cooked every single meal.
Wow.
So, and mainly because, I grew up in a communist country where, going out to a restaurant, you had to have, a little bit more income than maybe we had. So we cooked. But that's a gift now that I think about it. It's such a gift that I grew up around, just people preparing meals for each other.
Definitely. I totally agree. Not like prepare your own meal, it just it could be healthier. All depends what you cook that day, it could be healthy, but it's good to know that you're able to prepare your own meal,
Yes.
Thank for that, Also, thankful for all of this. Was great, And that lead me to the last question. Now, I think I sent you a message about it too, I know it trips people up all the time. Boundless. What is your boundless start of motivation in a few words?
Oh, I think movement. Movement is something, that what it means to me is just, discovering my mental and physical limits. And it's like, it allows me to break down my own barriers. And that, that is something that makes me feel alive. Movement is something that, provides that me time, but also allows me to create meaningful relationships and be part of a community. I think through movement is where I find myself being boundless. And it's what continues to, it continues to, to provide opportunities for me to stretch myself, in different ways as I evolve, both as a human, as an athlete.
That's great.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Magda, for
Thanks, Emily.
the whole hour of time we spent together. It's flown by, and we're so excited that you could be with Kenneth and I and with the whole Live Run Boundless family. Thank you to the Live Run Boundless family for joining us for another episode on the Live Run Boundless show, where we live a life beyond the boundaries you set on yourselves. And until next time, friends, have an amazing week, and good luck to Kenneth tomorrow.
Yes.
Let's go, Kenneth. Pulling for you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for this time with you.
Yeah, it definitely was good. It was good.
It was amazing.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.